Hello to you, Josh. So it is 10:30 a.m. for you. How has your morning been?
It's been great, man. Honestly, we got a lot done already, so pretty excited to be on this and pretty excited to get this done.
Well, do give me a rundown, considering you're saying it was great.
So I'm a parent of two young boys, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. So the 7-year-old had school this morning. 5-year-old, he helps around the house. He's learning masculinity as a whole. So we got a lot of chores done. Got a lot of things to help my wife out with some stuff. Got some clients taken care of. Did some calls, and now we're
Mhm.
here.
So are you completely working from home?
No, I'm actually in the process of trying to start a crane company. So that's a whole nother subject. But
Interesting.
yeah, we're out in the field.
Okay, got it. But still, you get to spend some good time with family, so that's always great to hear.
Yeah, it's definitely a plus, man. Definitely,
Right,
especially being a parent of two. You know.
right, right. Okay, so let's get into your wins. I saw some nice posts from you in the freelancing campus, so could you explain what they were about?
Yeah. So I believe my first post was whenever I first started implementing some of the stuff from the freelancing campus, the email copywriting, some DM tactics, and some marketing tactics. Actually, we made $79,000 in the last what was it, 12 months, and the last 4 months here we've been making about $60,000 with $40,000 profit. So I mean, it's been a pretty big win since joining.
Right, right. And did you have any previous copywriting experience before you joined?
I had a little bit, but it wasn't too much of a success. I was really bumpy, really bumpy actually. So I mean, there was a lot of things that I just didn't know. You don't know what you don't know type of thing. And whenever I came across the freelancing campus, I learned a lot from Dylan. Like I said before, that some things that probably would have costed me thousands of dollars to learn elsewhere.
Hmm. And just briefly, what things stood out from what you learned from Dylan?
So definitely email copywriting. That's a huge thing for any business owner that everybody should know, or at least have somebody on their team that knows how to do it. I mean, it takes you above and beyond to points that you can't even imagine, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
Not only that, the whole Instagram, Twitter, DM thing, that's a big win in itself, too. If you don't know how to talk to people in private, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can post all day, but whenever you get into that next level of private DMs and actually pitching people what you do and how to do it, that, that's a game changer in itself.
So, what you said about email copywriting is quite interesting because some people I've spoken to outside of these interviews, some people in real life, they have, whether it's businesses set up or quite successful social medias, which they're just not monetizing properly because they don't understand the power of an email list and utilizing it. So, I mean, yeah, I guess that's what you bring to businesses. How much have you seen in terms of businesses not realizing how important having an email list is and then monetizing it? Did that make sense? That was
Yeah,
a
I
roundabout.
would say it's extremely important because you want to have that recurring revenue. You want to be able to actually have a list that you can monetize on a regular basis. Um, and I believe there's a statistic somewhere out there that most people don't buy on the first interaction with you. It takes anywhere from 5 to 7 interactions before they even make their first purchase with you. So having an email list and being able to monetize that email list is crucial, because like I said, they're gonna get those emails over and over and over again, and they're gonna see those, and that counts as an interaction, from that 5 to 7 interactions. So by the time you get to that seventh, they're already, making their decision on who you are and what you do.
Hmm.
That trust level's built, that rapport is built. So now you're making more sales, and like I said, you have an active list that you can campaign to on a consistent basis.
Right. That makes sense. And what was your experience with getting your first client, first copywriting client?
It's terrible.
As
No,
expected,
but
as it is with
yeah,
everyone. So yeah.
yeah. So I mean, it's a learning. There's a learning curve to it, just like anything else. It's not nothing super crazy that nobody can do. You know, it's super easy. But like I said, there's a learning curve. You're not going to just jump into it and all of a sudden become God mode in it. But going through the steps and learning exactly what to do and how to do it, the instructions are to the key. They tell you exactly what to do and how to do it. So Dylan actually lays it out in a way that it's understandable for everybody. So I really like that as well.
So a bit more personal experience of first client. I still want to hear it.
Oh, okay. So my first experience, I actually got shut down. So I made it into where they were like, okay, yeah, I'd like to hear more about your services. We got on a Zoom call. This guy already had somebody that was doing copywriting for them. So he was asking me questions along the lines of like, how are you better than this person? Trying to kind of like make us compete for his business. And to be honest, like, I did my best, but I wasn't experienced enough to go head to head with the guy that he already had.
Right.
So I mean, it was kind of an eye opener to know that, hey, like, you're not going to be the only person out here that's pitching these people.
Right.
But at the same time, it was an eye opener to the fact that, okay, yeah, there may be other people out there, but there's a chance that I could get better at this, and there's a chance that I can actually land clients because I made it this far. So
And
I
then
mean,
how long after that first client did you start getting more clients?
um, it
I
was
mean,
not too
first
long.
kind of failed client, I guess you call it.
Yeah,
So when
it
was the
wasn't.
first successful one, I guess?
It wasn't too long after that. I'd say about a week,
Oh, that's
because now we're sitting at a lot of clients now. I don't really want to put that number out there, but we have a whole team. I have everything, going out. It's pretty much automated now. So I mean, it's not that difficult, man.
How did that scale then? If everything is automated and you were just saying about your story, how you failed with the first client. So what's the
So
process there? Like how was that journey?
so it took a lot of networking. I was meeting other people that are in the online space. Within the real world, there's a couple of people in there that are in the freelancing campus that have built teams that know exactly how to implement employees, how to implement different softwares and things like that. So that was something that I spent a lot of time doing, asking questions, trying to find the right people, which obviously I did. So I found the employees; they're relatively cheap. You know, if somebody wants to reach out and ask those questions, I'll put it out there, privately. But we're paying employees pretty well, but for the United States, it our dollar goes a long way.
Mhm.
So we're able to implement stuff like that, and people that already have the skills and expertise, they just don't have the entrepreneurial mind to do it themselves. So they're more of an entrepreneur, and they fit more well into somebody else's system. And like I said, I learned all that from the campus. People told me what to do, how to do it, where to implement it, and I just followed it.
Mhm. Very interesting. Okay. So in terms of the material you've learned and you've seen within the campuses, how different are they compared to what's out there on the internet?
So I definitely say that the material is not it's not unique per se, but it's also a lot more expensive if you try to learn it somewhere else. So I mean, copywriting's been around forever, right? But that's definitely something that if you try to learn it elsewhere, it's going to cost you at least $1,000 here in the U.S. because it's a valuable skill to have. And like I said, it implements into any business for sure. Any business learning it, email list for e-commerce for anything really. The email list is invaluable. There's really no price that you can put on that. So you try to learn that elsewhere. You can try to learn it on YouTube, stuff like that, but you're not going to learn the full gist of it. So I would say that learning it for the amount that we learn it for is I honestly, I'm grateful for it
Mhm.
because you're not going to find it for that cheap anywhere.
Right.
And that's a skill, like I said, it's going to pay you massive amounts of money.
So now that you've learned copywriting, you've implemented freelancing lessons, everything else, has your average day changed now compared to before you joined the real world?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, now that I just thought about why I asked, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, what's the
Absolutely.
story there?
So I mean, before, like we were making about $100 a day. Actually, yesterday we had a $2,000 day. So I mean, that can kind of show you the lifestyle levels and what's really going on behind the scenes. So there's a lot more being implemented, and it's just more on the scalability side. So I mean, that's where we're gonna get into like more family vacations. Being able to actually live life, um, doing a lot more, lifestyle type things. And I mean, I'm here in New Mexico. My apartment's it's nice, but that upgrade after this is going to be nice.
Mhm. Right, right.
So,
And what about on a personal level? So average day before joining the real world, what did it look like?
so before joining the world, I mean, we were roughly like at $700 a week, roughly. I mean, it wasn't too crazy. It wasn't nothing nuts. I mean, we were still making a little bit of money, but like I said, it wasn't livable for the United States at least.
I
We're
mean, outside of figures, just in general, how was your average day?
Oh, so I mean, I was an employee. I was working in 9 to 5. Actually, not really 9 to 5. It was 7 days a week. 84 hours a week, nonstop, until a couple days off here and there. Parenting was a mess. Because my wife was trying to handle the household while I was out working. My kids, one of them going to school, one being here. Um, Man, it's stressful. Whenever you're trying to learn things, trying to do things, and you don't really have the time to really mess with anything. So, I mean, life before the real world was pretty stressful, bro.
Mhm. Right. And then what was the trigger point there which made you decide to join the real world to give it a try?
So I mean, I had already been in some other courses that really, I mean, like I said, they taught things, but it was leaving out of a lot of major information that made the change. So there was always some kind of upsell, some kind of, other campaign that comes along and it just kind of strings you along. Excuse me. So the thing that made me join was just following Tate. To be honest with you, there's a lot of things that Tate says that kind of hit home. That were like, man, all right, yeah, he's right. So I mean, I just kind of looked through some testimonials, kind of looked, online, following a lot of people on TikTok. That's when Tate was like going crazy. You couldn't get away from him. So I mean, after that, I just kind of realized like, hey, man, it's a drop in the bucket for what it costs. Like, let me just try it out. So whenever I hopped in there, I realized like, okay, there's a lot of information here. So let's try to take it step by step.
Mhm.
So I went through the financial campus. Just kind of strolled along in there, kind of stayed quiet. Then I joined the next campus, which was the freelancing campus. And I was like, okay, this is a lot more active. There's a lot more going on in here. So let me dive in and really find out, like what's going on. And like I said, I was able to realize like, hey, this is implementable into what I already have. So let me just, try it out and see how things go.
Right.
After that, it was
And here we are now.
yeah, here we are now.
So what kind of an impact would you say personally Tate has had on you?
I'd say he's had a big impact actually. My wife kind of gets tired of me talking about, like, because I find him as like a very interesting character. Like we've never seen anybody in the limelight like Tate has been. So like with his teachings, with his opinions, with the facts that he drops, like so the impact that he's had on me has really been very positive. I kind of put my health aside, to try to grind and make money. Try to push different areas of my life because I kind of take things to the extreme. So I kind of put that aside. And whenever he started talking about like, hey, if you focus on your health first, uh, other things will start to fall in line. So like, I've been going to the gym for a while now. I'm starting to lose weight. I'm starting to gain my muscle back from past years, and I'm starting to notice that what he's talking about is true. It's helped me out a lot. So yeah, I can't say how grateful I am for stuff like that.
That's beautiful to hear. I love hearing stories like that. So, like, yeah, good. And has the community within the real world had any kind of impact on you? Or did you prefer to just stay to the courses?
I mean, I would say so. There's a couple of people in there that have like, seen my success stories. They've reached out and they've said, hey, like this motivated me to keep going. There's also been some people that I've been able to actually help that are way across the world. There was somebody in like Serbia, I think it was, and he was doing like fitness stuff and he was trying to build an email list. I helped him out, helped him create an ebook. Actually, that was pretty dope. Um, I actually got to reach out to him and see how he's doing. That's actually a good point.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's been nice to meet people all over the world that have the same interests, same goals, same value path. So I'd say it's been pretty positive, and I'd say it's made a pretty decent impact on me.
Good, good. And when you were first starting out with copywriting, were you looking at the Wins channel? Did that motivate you at all, or did you prefer not to look at it?
So it was kind of conflicting, right? So like I've always had this thing of like try not to compare myself to other people because
Hmm.
it's the comparison that kind of kills the motivation because you're like, dang, like I'm not doing too well right now. I'm struggling, but this person's winning so much. Like, what is he doing that's different? And in reality, they're just putting in the work, and they may be putting in an extra 5 hours a day that you're not. So I try not to look at it too much, but in the same time, I did because I wanted to know like what is possible,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And I think that looking at it actually did a lot more. You know, it was a lot more beneficial for me to look at it because, like I said, it forces you to realize like, okay, if these people can do it, I can do it.
Hmm. Right, makes sense. And what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced when you first joined and were trying to implement the material?
I'd say actually taking action. I would say that because I mean it's easy to go through the material, it's easy to fly through the material actually, but if you don't actually sit down and do the steps that he's telling you to do while he's telling you to do it, I feel like it's easy to just bypass it, kind of want to go to the next lesson, and then not do what you're supposed to do. And I feel like a lot of people get trapped in that, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people don't because the way that it's structured, where we have task lists, we have teaching that's in the middle of the lesson. It'll tell you to pause it, go ahead and go to this website. Don't continue without doing this, things like that. So I like the way that it's structured. It keeps you balanced to
Hmm.
where you kind of have to take action.
Right, right, right. So with not taking action, was that purely laziness or was there more to it? Let's say you've gone through all the content and then it's time to outreach, but then you're not sure if it actually works, if it's worth putting time into. So was it more that or just pure laziness as you were going through?
I'd say that it's a mixture of both, to be honest, because it's easy to be lazy. It's
Hmm.
that's always the easier option. But I mean, at the same time, you don't. Like I said, I had something going already, so my biggest concern was like, well, what if I implement this and it messes things up?
Hmm.
And the little bit that I am making, what if it makes it go away? It's kind of like acting out of like scarcity. Like a scarcity mindset. Like so, I mean, in my honest opinion, I don't feel like that's the way to think about things, even though, at the time I did. But now that I'm here and now that I know what I know, I would definitely say that you need to act a little bit opposite of that.
Right.
And like I said, laziness is the easier option, right? It's always going to be easier to just not do something. Um, but if you just follow the course, like I said, it kind of forces you not to be lazy because you'll feel bad about yourself.
Right. Cool. So moving on to, what would you say have been the three biggest lessons you've learned from your time within the real world? If anything overlaps, feel free to repeat again.
So I definitely say number one is health is wealth, right? I can't in every campus that's pushed. Fitness accountability, getting into the gym, taking care of your body. In turn, lesson number two is that if you take care of your body, everything else is pretty much taken care of. Um, so at the same time, when you start taking care of yourself, like I said, lesson number two would be that you start taking care of the people around you because now you feel like, okay, well, if I'm taken care of, I can take care of others, right? And lesson number three would be definitely, look to God and just do what you're supposed to do. At the end of the day, be a man. So I would say, like, to add on to that, lesson number four would be stop being lazy, bro. That's really all it boils down to. I mean, I feel like the lessons are pretty simple and clear cut.
Right. Raw action solves a lot of issues, especially when you have a direction.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm. Okay. So since you're on this trajectory now, such a substantial change from when you joined as well, where do you see your life heading in 6 months to 1 year?
Hopefully to be in Dubai, hanging out with the guys. That'd
Right.
be dope. But I mean, I definitely see myself, hitting seven figures at some point. I'm not gonna put a date on that or anything
Mhm.
crazy, but just keep doing what I'm doing and keep pushing. Like I said, if you do the right things every day, the results come, and I feel like I've been a testimony to that. And I'm just gonna continue doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I've been a testimony to that. Listening to your story. Great to hear the progress you made.
I
And I'll be
appreciate it.
looking forward to doing a follow-up interview as well at some point in future, maybe 3 months or so, to see how things have scaled for you. Basically, message me whenever things scale and we'll get you on for a follow-up. We can do it
Yeah,
that
for
way.
sure.
And I guess I'm on my final question now. Can't think of any others. So for people who are still unsure about joining the real world, maybe they think it could be a scam for $50. What advice would you have to them?
I'd say take the chance. It's $50, bro. What does it boil down to? Like $1 and some change a day to equal out to $50 a month. I mean, what are you really losing in the grand scheme of things? And what do you really have to gain? Right? So that boils down to the laziness factor. If you pay $50 for something and it's such a big deal to you, why are you not doing anything with the information? That's really what it boils down to.
Okay, so Josh, thank you for your time. If people want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
So it'd definitely be on Instagram at it's Josh Taylor.
Mhm.
It's two I's and it's IITS Josh Taylor.
I'll add it to
Um,
the description of the video. Anyone who's confused, go down there, you'll find it.
I appreciate it. On Facebook as well, it's Joshua Taylor.
Where?
That's my name on Facebook.
Facebook. Right.
I don't have a YouTube or anything yet. That's coming very soon. I'll be pumping out some content, so you'll be able to find me on there when that's available.
Good. So again, Josh, thank you for this interview. Some interesting insights. And I wish you all the best until that follow up.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.